Hi guys, this is your average fraghead Victor, and today we will be looking at 4 different formulation of one of the most popular date night fragrance, which is Nuit De Lhomme from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. Special thanks to my good friend Nas for letting me borrow these 3 bottles for this comparison. This fragrance was originally released way back 2009, and the nose behind this is a collaboration of 3 perfumers, Flipo, Pierre, Wargnye, and Dominique Ropion. This is available for 40, 60, 100, and 200 ml in EDT concentration. Some of the 2009 formulation have a metal cap, but the 2010 I got here doesn't, but this cap is the heaviest out of the bunch. So let's tackle first the most vintage here. So this one opens up with that cardamom with little bergamot in the initial spray. The overall scent of this one is very dense, creamy, a bit powdery and spicy, which gives that sexy vibe. The lavender is a bit more on the background when it comes to the mid, and you still got that cardamom as the most prominent note. For the performance, it has a good projection for the first 2 to 2.5 hours, and it lasted on my skin for around 7 hours. It is worth mentioning that this 2010 batch has a really great sillage that beats out the other ones here. For the 2013, this one opens up with cardamom and bergamot, and this has some freshness characteristic compared to the 2010 batch. The cardamom is still very spicy, but it's balanced out just a tiny bit by the freshness coming from the bergamot. In the mid, the lavender is definitely more prominent alongside with the cardamom, retaining some freshness to the scent. However, the cardamom is still the main player here. For the performance, longevity, I'm getting up to 5 hours with also good projection for the first 2 hours. Now moving on with the 2016 here, the freshness is pumped up a bit more in the opening coming from the bergamot, but you still got a good amount of spiciness from the cardamom. In the mid of this one, lavender is definitely more prominent than the previous batch, but cardamom is still the main player here, but not as dense. Performance is a bit weaker compared to the 2013 batch. I'm getting around 4 hours longevity with good projection for the first 2 hours. For the 2019 batch, it has the most freshness out of the bunch, and the cardamom has been watered down unfortunately, but not to the extent that you won't be able to detect it, as the cardamom is still the main player in the opening. This also has the most prominent lavender in the mid, but you still get that cardamom up to the dry down. Longevity on this one is a bit better than the 2013 and 2016 batches to my surprise. It might have something to do with that freshness characteristic. It lasted on my skin up to 6 hours, but it pretty much a skin scent after that 4-hour mark. Good projection for the first 2 hours. And also, if you're wondering which batch is this Night the Perfume and Intense smells the closest, the cardamom here is similar to the 2016 batch. Overall, in my opinion, the original formulation, which has the 4-digit code, is giving off a different characteristic vibe compared to the other ones, which are very aromatic. This has a really dark, creamy, and also a bit powdery cardamom. And yes, performance is better in the first formulation. It doesn't get really weak after the 4-hour mark, but it is still not a beast, and it's still made for close encounters. It does have a great sillage performance that adds up to the magic of this fragrance. Not only these 4-digit batches are really hard to find, but also very expensive. Not to mention these juice are really old, so if not stored properly, it will really affect the scent. So be careful if you're trying to hunt one down. Now, is it worth it? If you're a hardcore Nuit lover or a collector, yes, this is definitely worth it. But for those who just want to try or to have this DNA, the newer formulation will do the job for you. Yes, the performance on the newer one is just average, but carrying a decant and spraying a bit more will fix this issue. The scent alone for the newer formulation is still great. The cardamom is watered down, but it is still carried the DNA really well, and it is worth having in your collection if you want those sexy date night fragrances. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. This has been your average fraghead, signing off.